Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Beautiful and Bothered. With me, your host, Johnny Ross. It's just us today. No guest. We are talking about a bunch of hot topics. I just got back from London, so I'm going to tell you all about my London trip, what I liked about London. We're talking about the Super Bowl with Rihanna. We're talking about Lady Gaga teasing her brand new role in the Joker sequel, as well as Forbes uncovering a very scary truth about TikTok. Something that, I've been a little suspicious of for a while, and boy, did they confirm it. I've had a couple glasses of wine, so we're getting into it. So I just got back from London. We went for a week with some friends. My best friend's brother lives in London, so it was pretty cool to have someone there that is like a native. I think he's been there for a couple of years. So it was awesome just to know someone, and even my best friend has been there many times. He has family there. So it was cool to kind of navigate the country with someone that knows the area, because you kind of got the ins and outs of it and you just caught on to it very quick. That's the thing when you travel, you don't always know how to take the public transportation, where to go, what's the cool stuff, what's not. So that was really awesome. And I've only been to Italy, is the only other European country I've been to. And I have to say, I loved London so much. So let me tell you why. It is by far the cleanest city I've ever been to in my life. I was blown away. And a lot of people I've seen since I got back have asked me, like, what American city is it like? What's it like? To be honest with you, it's almost incomparable to any other American city in the sense that, yeah, I guess you could say it's a little bit like Boston with the cobblestone roads. But other than that, it's very evident when you're in a city like London. There's thousands of years of history. The architecture in the buildings, it just has a feel to it and a vibrance that no American city really has, because there is such a newness by comparison. It has also the built up nature of what a New York City wants to be. But listen, I'm going to piss some people off here. New York City, I have lived in New Jersey my entire life. I grew up maybe 50 minutes outside of New York City. Now I live 10 minutes outside New York City. I love going to Broadway. I've seen like 60 Broadway shows, so I've been in the city so many times. I'm going to say it. New York City is extremely dirty. It's gross. And it's worse than it's ever been. Like, there's stabbings on the subway trains. You hear horrific news every other day. When I had an internship in the city, like, we would just be like stepping over like poor homeless people, like walking up to the office. It is just, it really made me realize going to London how much New York City is Gotham City without Batman. I watched the new Batman on the way there with Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz, and I finished it on the way home. And on the way home, I'm just looking at the garbage and the dirt and the crime, and I'm just like, wow, this is New York City. And obviously I can only speak to the metropolitan area. I have been to Los Angeles and it's kind of the same thing. So what I love so much about London that blew me away is how clean it is. It is 75% of the population, more than the United States, smoke cigarettes. And you can't even find a cigarette butt on the streets of London. People are so just conscious of that, where even the garbage cans have ashtrays where they're putting them out, and they're not just throwing them on the sidewalk. Let alone, you are never going to find a piece of like trash, like a McDonald's bag or whatever. Even getting home, we flew into JFK, which was a shit show. The whole thing's under construction, so we had to take a bus. The woman, like, outside the shuttle was just yelling at us to get on the bus, despite not knowing if it was, like, taking us where we needed to go. They're just so much more rude, and the whole airport is broken down, and there was garbage everywhere walking to our car, and it just made me so depressed. We ended up having a big conversation, my friends and I, while we were there, because I think there really is this narrative when it comes to the United States that, we are this capitalist society that has no taxation without representation. We don't have a return on our investment. And it really showed me how much, we're in the United States, in certain states, we're losing 35% of our taxes, let alone if you're in states like California, where, yes, they're losing 50, 60% of their taxes, but they're operating under this American umbrella, that it really pointed out to me that the biggest problem in this country is the political corruption, that we have no return on our investment when it comes to our taxes. And it's crazy because the narrative my entire life as a millennial, it has been, demonizing countries like the UK or England that you're losing maybe 50% of your taxes. But I have to say, being there, I have never been in a country that it was so evident that they get a return on that investment. The cleanliness, the keep up with the tube system, how well everything is run. The tubes themselves are brand new looking and clean, and the maps are updated, and you can understand the person on the intercom, unlike New York City, where it sounds like they're underwater telling you what stop you're pulling up to, where you don't even know what's happening, let alone if you want to transfer to a different, train line, to if it's a connection. It's just so well organized. Everything is color coded. The people that work in the public transportation are so helpful. And even my friend, who he lives about maybe 20 minutes outside of London, and his train stop would be the equivalent of like where I live now outside of New York City. And the one day, the earliest start we got where we were walking to the train, maybe around 9 a.m., there's somebody power washing and sweeping that train station. You would never find that in New Jersey. NJ Transit, like terminals or stations, etc. I've never even seen someone sweeping, let alone power washing. It's crazy because you notice so much right out of the gate that the return on investment that they're getting, the citizens, it really inspires a pride for the country and the city, where they're not throwing their garbage on the ground. They're not even throwing their cigarette butts on the ground. And that was really awesome to see, as far as like the political system and just the city in general. But then on top of it, we did some really cool things. So my fiance and I, as I mentioned, we love Broadway. So of course we were going to see a West End show. It kind of sucked because the one day we had to ourselves, which was a Tuesday, I believe, is like the biggest dark day for the West End, meaning that a lot of shows are closed. So we didn't have a lot to choose from, but we ended up seeing Cabaret. Even the difference between Broadway and the West End. So obviously I can only speak to Cabaret. I don't know if a lot of the other West End theaters do this, but in Broadway, when you go to a Broadway show, they open the doors like a half an hour to 25 minutes before the show starts. 99% of the time, they can't even get the entire audience into the theater and sat by the time the show starts. So you have hordes of people coming in after the curtain goes up, where they're crunching on M&Ms and food. When we saw Cabaret, it was the entire theater was like custom designed for the feel of the show. So Cabaret takes place, I believe, in like the the mid 1930s, kind of right as World War II is starting. The show takes place in this kind of underground, seedy club, if you will. So the entire theater was custom designed to make you feel like you were going into that kind of a club. So you're walking down these stairs, there's like beads hanging, and I don't think you can even see Cabaret on the West End if you're under the age of 18, which is the drinking age there, because you walk in and when you're going through these hallways that there's like smoke pumped into them. So it feels very just like seedy and cool. And you're walking through the hallways and there's like a little bar, and every single person that's walking in, single file almost, you're getting a free vodka shot before you even, go all the way in. And then all throughout the theater, there is little vignettes set up of the performers in the show, like dancing and playing the piano. And you're invited to go into the theater, I believe, an hour and a half before the show starts, because there's so many bars set up all around the theater where you can get drinks, and you're sitting at little tables and you're meeting other people that are seeing the show. It's just so crazy to me. There were so many experiences that kind of had this juxtaposition of the United States, and specifically New York City, in my experience, that everything you do here is just so rushed, and get in, get out, sit down, don't ask questions, do this. And there was a slowness to the city that was so beautiful and relaxed, and really just takes the the citizens and the people, or the theater goers, or the shoppers, or the people experiencing what they're experiencing into consideration that you just don't get here. So the show was awesome. It wasn't my favorite in the sense that we had jet lag. I was like falling asleep during the slow numbers. It was a really good show. I've always wanted to see Cabaret. For me, it was the main girl who was playing the lead. I didn't really love, she was kind of giving like, high school overacting theater energy. It was a little too big. And it kind of took me out of it in that sense. Either way, if you're in London or you want to go see a West End show, I highly recommend Cabaret. It was really beautiful. The whole ensemble was awesome. It was to die for. The shopping in London is next level. Like I said, the only other city I've been to, we went to Rome and Capri. Capri is so overrated in my opinion. It's like so touristy that the only shopping was like Dior and Hermes. I was joking around that it's just like a bunch of CEOs and their wives who go to Capri. But Rome was beautiful. And the crazy thing that I noticed was, even in Rome, because of their economic state, there really isn't a lot of small businesses. You're really either going to like H&M and Zara, or there's like restaurants and wine bars and maybe a couple shops with like knockoff handbags. But you're not really going to find maybe private, like owned mom and pop, like clothing stores or skincare shops or just cool art stores. At least from what I experienced, where I'm not kidding you, in London, every 5 feet is a new store that you're just like, oh my God, I have to go in there. And it was amazing. The food was probably the only thing that was a little unimpressive. I don't think England is really known for anything in particular that's like a culinary masterpiece. Don't get mad at me for saying that, but a lot of the meals we had were very good, but you can definitely tell that the best food you're getting in London, it is food from maybe American-inspired food, or we went to an amazing ramen place. Like, they're kind of imports from other places, but the food was amazing that we had. Nothing traditionally English-based, but let me tell you, I am so head over heels in love with London. I would move there in 5 seconds. Everything is more affordable, even with the dollar like being valued less. I think it's 80 cents on the dollar, and it still ended up being much cheaper than it is here in New Jersey and New York. My fiance is obsessed with Legos, and we went to the Lego store, and they had like a 20-foot Big Ben. There was Harry Potter characters everywhere. Harry Potter Legacy was coming out, I think maybe that week, actually. I think it came out, the deluxe edition, like the Wednesday we were there. So it's so funny being in London. I never expected how much, there was so many advertisements for it. Like, it really is their calling card. Even in the Lego store, there was every single Harry Potter character was about 6 foot tall, made completely out of Legos. You just felt that magical kind of essence of Harry Potter all throughout London, which was incredible because I'm a massive Harry Potter fan. Absolutely in love with London. Couldn't love it more. Dying to go back. Now, if you didn't see it, Lady Gaga teased her brand new role in the Joker sequel on her Instagram. I also think the director of the movie posted the photo as well. We really only got one photo of her, and I have to say, I'm very excited. Lady Gaga is my number one. I have a Born This Way tattoo. I have Lady Gaga all on my arm here. If you're watching the video podcast on YouTube, I'm showing it off. She's my girl. Lady Gaga is everything to me. As an actress, I love her. She's gonna win an Oscar one day. I think this role, I'm hoping, is going to be her niche in a way that she has a very manic energy. She has a theater kid energy. And I think even from the photo, this role is going to suit her very well. I was talking to somebody about it, and we were saying that it's difficult because a lot of other actors, they're unknown until maybe they have the one that kind of makes them explode. So they have a minute to develop their comfort level and their craft. And then once they have that kind of pop, then they almost get to have their expectations of them as an artist form in real time, where anything Lady Gaga has ever done, she walked right into any acting role with all of these preconceived notions about her, about what she should deliver and what people expected of her. And there's been many roles that she's had, in my opinion, like American Horror Story and House of Gucci, that she was almost playing to those expectations, and it came off a little bit too much in a way, where I think Star is Born, she did much better, because I think that being really her first huge blockbuster role, maybe the newness to it and the ingenue feeling lent itself to that character. Something about Gaga to me, it always baffles me that after all of these years, it breaks my heart that I feel like she still thinks she has something to prove when she does live performances, or even the whole Joanne era. Like, she was really trying to be like, see, I can do this. I can do Stripped Down. I can do... We know, girl. We know. We know the voice is there. Nobody is arguing that Lady Gaga has one of the most unbelievable voices of not our generation, any generation. Like, you don't need to prove anything anymore. And there's times that I feel like she's acting or she's singing for the back of the house, or over singing to like say, see, I can do it. I can do it. Like, we know, girl, surrender to that feeling and be in your body and just have that small experience. And I think that's a difficult thing to do as a performer, because there's times where you always feel like you have to prove something to people. And I think the best people out there are the ones that, when you're watching them, you almost get so relaxed by their being relaxed, by them being comfortable. When they're at ease, it puts the audience at ease. And I think that's something that she struggles with every now and again, is you can kind of tell that she is trying to say something or prove something, and it makes the audience a little bit uncomfortable. But when it comes to Joker, this is, I'm hoping, gonna be where her Venn diagram just overlaps, because it's a very manic character, I'm assuming, and she has that energy and she's very good at that. I really anticipate this being awesome. I didn't see the original Joker because it came out in 2020. It was like mid-pandemic. I was having a mental breakdown myself, so I did not want to watch Joaquin Phoenix playing the Joker having a mental breakdown himself. It was a little bit too much at the time. So I'm almost kind of excited about that, because I want to watch the new one right before the second one comes out. I just dropped something on the floor. I apologize. The only thing I'm a little wary of is the whole musical aspect. I hope it's not too campy, because that also seems to be her downfall. I'm hoping it is almost a little reminiscent of the way they've done the best movie musical, in my opinion, Chicago, in 2002 with Catherine Zeta-Jones, Queen Latifah, and Renee Zellweger. I think a lot of movie musicals don't translate all the time. You have to understand, a movie audience is not the same as a theater audience. A theater audience is expecting someone to be talking about, breaking up with their husband and then start singing about, I have to go to the bathroom, whatever. Well, we expect that dissonance. We expect that jarring pivot to a musical number. But a movie audience is like, why the hell are you talking about how you quit your job and then all of a sudden you're singing? There's that hard switch that a movie audience isn't prepared for. And what I think Chicago, the musical movie, got so right was, anytime it went into a musical number, it was this aside of, I'm in my own head. It's not happening in the present. I think that would lend itself so well to Joker. Not that I've seen the first one, but obviously who doesn't know the Joker character and what that entire saga is about? She's playing Harley Quinn. They all have villain-esque, crazy backstories. That would lend itself so well to that format of this musical number being their maybe internal dialogue. And that being said, like I'm saying about her, I'm hoping that makes it a little bit more internal and a little bit more soft and a little bit more reflective. I think an audience that is going to see the Joker is really as far away from a theater audience as you can get. So I hope that's the lane they go in, but who knows? Now let's talk about the Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show. No surprise to anybody, I did not watch the game. Couldn't tell you who was, I almost said performing, so there we go. Who was playing the Iowa Panda Bears and the Milwaukee measles. I couldn't tell you anything. I'm not kidding you. Here's the thing with the Rihanna halftime show. There has been a lot of argument online about, whether it was entertaining enough or how well she did. And here's the deal. I think we need to, as a society, relax when it comes to criticism. In the sense that anybody that is even mildly critiquing her performance is like being met with that they are saying they hate her as a person. If your criticism involves anything related to her appearance, her being pregnant, you're an asshole. That shouldn't even be part of the discussion. My purview or viewpoint of the halftime show as a performer myself and loving performers, loving music, loving live performance, I have to say, I don't think this performance is even really in my top 10. And here's why. She hasn't performed in a million years. We know that. Rihanna is someone compared to other performers that I love. You have your Lady Gaga, you have Beyonce, Pink, even someone like Alanis Morissette or Florence and the Machine. Just people that you can tell eat, sleep, and breathe their music career. When they perform, they are chewing the scenery. There is a fire in their eyes that makes your jaw hit the floor. That's what we love about people like Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, Beyonce, Barbra Streisand, Lady Gaga. For me, when it comes to Rihanna, if you told me her internal dialogue while performing the Super Bowl was, "Did I leave my oven on?" I would believe you. There's a disconnect for me when she's performing, and maybe it's because she hasn't performed in a million years. I give her so much credit for doing that pregnant. I get winded when I walk up the stairs, so it's not for anybody to critique that. But that being said, I almost wish she leaned more into the stationary power performance. Those lifting kind of hydraulics of those moving stages was incredible. That was to die for. When it came to the faster numbers where she's not even really a dancer or like known as someone that dances in her performances, I almost wish she just committed to being on that platform, having maybe a buildup of the costume. Start with that amazing red she was wearing, but maybe without the coat, and then add the coat on. Imagine if the train of that coat, like the last thing, was maybe 30 feet long, where when the platform went up, the train of her coat was draping all the way down to the field. And commit more to just standing there with that microphone and give us vocals. Where was Love on the Brain? Where was Stay? That's kind of based on her, being pregnant and not wanting to obviously break it down. I wish they had anticipated that or kind of leaned more into that, because I think it would have been a little bit more powerful. But to me, it almost felt like, I don't know, she was almost just counting down the moment until she could touch herself up with her Fenty powder. It was like a little bit like a Fenty beauty commercial. So I don't know, that was kind of my standpoint. She's an icon. She's incredible. It really also made me realize how many hits she has and has had. And there was so many she didn't even do. So she's incredible. I love Rihanna. That being said, she's a beast. And oh my God, the woman is one of my icons. And what's the word I'm looking for? Aspirations, even with her company. She is absolutely incredible. But as far as the Super Bowl, that's how I felt about the performance. But then when it came to the whole Fenty thing, now kind of pivoting, the whole Fenty powder, this is what drives me insane about makeup TikTok and makeup, just kind of the beauty community in general. The minute the Super Bowl was over, if I needed to see one more makeup influencer talk about the damn Fenty powder, showing her in the background saying, "This is the powder Rihanna used at the Super Bowl. Let me talk about it." Bitch, this powder has been out for 2-3 years at this point. And were you using it before this? No, because listen, it's not that great of a powder. I could tell you 10 different translucent setting powders that are better than that Fenty powder. And of course, the minute the Super Bowl comes out, every single makeup influencer is making a video about how here's the Fenty powder, and oh my God. Why weren't you using it before? Why haven't you been using it for the past year? Because there's better powders. But now you're gonna make all these people buy that Fenty powder when it's not that great. Talk about all the other Fenty products that are amazing. 90% of Fenty Beauty is to die for. It's one of the best lines on the market today. And that is like the pandering, trendy shit as a beauty influencer that drives me up the wall. I can't get behind that. I can't be like, oh my God, Rihanna just performed Fenty and she showed that powder. Let me drop everything and talk about that powder. That's the stuff that just drives me insane about people. It gives a very desperate motivation for trend at the moment. Like, ooh, everyone's going to be talking about this powder, so let me make a video about it when I haven't been using it for the past 2 years because it's not my favorite powder, and you're getting these average consumers to buy this powder. It just rubs me the wrong way. That's why I didn't talk about it after the Super Bowl. And like I said, you don't need that powder. Now we are talking about a new article that came out in Forbes titled, "TikTok's secret, quote, heating button can make anyone go viral." Okay, guys, I don't even know where to begin. I have had this inkling about TikTok for a long time. As somebody that has a very big following on TikTok, I don't know, right out of the gate, I kind of smelled something fishy. And I said to myself, listen, I do not want to put all my eggs in this basket. And I really worked very hard to build up my following on Instagram and YouTube because I just felt very unsettled on TikTok. There was something weird going on from the very beginning. So the article on Forbes is by journalist Emily Baker White, and the article starts out by saying, for years, TikTok has described its powerful For You page as a personalized feed ranked by an algorithm that predicts your interests based on your behavior in the app. But that is not the full story. According to 6 current and former employees of TikTok and its parent company, ByteDance, I believe it's pronounced, and internal documents and communications reviewed by Forbes, these sources reveal that in addition to letting the algorithm decide what goes viral, staff at TikTok and ByteDance also secretly handpick specific videos and supercharge their distribution using a practice known internally as heating. So basically this means that TikTok employees are specifically picking which videos they want to go viral. And the sick thing is that it is influencers or content creators or brands that they are also working with, that they want to do well because there is a mutual relationship going on. Okay, so we can have the entire conversation about censorship. That's petrifying because whatever information they want to bolster, whatever people they want to bolster, they're going to do that. And that is a little scary because it's revealing that the popularity of certain creators or certain videos is actually not up to the people. So it really made me realize when all the like Michaela mascara drama went down, it's crazy to me that, we had an entire conversation as a social media, consumption community about authenticity and honesty. It brought on, even though Michaela did disclose in her video that it was an ad, it brought upon this entire conversation about every other content creator or influencer, whether they're being honest, whether they're disclosing that it's an ad when it is an ad. And the funny thing to me is that everyone's debating whether the content creators or the influencers on the app are being transparent about whether something is an advertisement or there's something going on behind the scenes. When every single video you're consuming on that app, you don't even know the authenticity or the honesty about whether it's being bolstered by Joanne, who works at TikTok, or whether the people have chosen for it to be popular. And the scary thing about that is you don't know if the videos on your For You page are actually even handpicked by the people, whether the democracy of people's affection or interest in that piece of content is what's making you see it, or whether it is being picked to be viral and it's not being disclosed that it is. Even more so, doubling down on it, it's also come out that there is entire strategy behind luring content creators to the app. There was an entire article that I read on top of videos on TikTok where it was explained that there's almost a milestone benchmark where certain benchmarks between, let's say, your 25th or your 40th video that you post, one of them is bound to go viral. as a content creator. And the reason for that is they want you to feel that boost of, oh my God, I had a viral video. And it's psychologically manipulating a creator into saying, oh my God, this is it. Now let me invest everything. That's what happened to me. I was like, oh my God, now I have to post every day. I have to do this. And then after that video goes viral, your views are going to drop right back down to what they were. And you're getting that serotonin boost, and then you're dropping all the way down of, well, now what am I doing wrong? Why am I not repeating that success? And it's intentionally creating that insecurity in you to say, what am I doing wrong? I need to do twice as much, 3 times as much. I need to post 4 times a day. And if I need to see one more video on TikTok of some self-proclaimed TikTok strategist saying that it's all about consistency, I do this for a living. I've posted every single day for the past 2 years. Consistency has nothing to do with it. With 1.3 million followers, why do I have any videos that have 2,000 views? That is 0.0007% of my following. And that video with 2,000 views is the exact same structure, content, topic, length, information based as the one before that has 400,000, 500,000, 1 million. So don't come at me that piece of content wasn't good enough, so that's the reason it didn't do it. There is some kind of manipulation going on behind the scenes. It's really, really icky and really weird, guys. Like, I can't even describe to you. And as a content creator, just to be completely transparent, like I said, I have 1.3 million followers. It's my most followed platform. I've been on TikTok for 2 years. I have made, despite brand deals, which I don't even take that many, just off TikTok, like what TikTok has paid me with the creator fund, I have posted almost every single day. I have 40 million likes. I've made maybe $4,000 in 2 years. There's no big treasure trove here. And the crazy thing is even brands putting all their eggs in this basket. I just don't even think the TikTok consumer is, in my experience, as much of a purchasing consumer as Instagram and YouTube are. So when I get brand deals, believe it or not, 9 times out of 10, I end up steering them over to Instagram or YouTube. It's not even for, to be honest with you, the return on their investment, because whatever, that's not my main priority. I, as the creator, at least want to give this brand a guaranteed certain engagement where I know on Instagram and YouTube, I'm gonna at least get 100,000 views or more. But on TikTok with 1.3 million followers, I can in good faith take a brand deal with a huge company where I don't know if the video is gonna get 1 million views or 2,000 views. That's ridiculous. It's not psychologically healthy for people that are making any content or posting on this app. There's enough reasons with social media for people to be insecure and self-conscious, let alone with such manipulation. And listen to me, I don't want to hear anybody comment or say, every social media platform does this. No shit. But let me tell you, as somebody with very big followings on almost every platform, nobody is doing this as bad as TikTok is. I have a guaranteed consistency on every other platform. Yes, Facebook and Instagram, it's hairy when it comes to politics and the election and the whole 9 yards, and even information in general. Of course, they're going to push certain things. It's a private company. That's the United States. They're allowed to talk about whatever they want. It's their company. They're allowed to push whatever they want. But when it comes to the psychological manipulation of their users and creators, that is sick. That is sick to me. And I'm over it. And I've been over it for a long time. And, I'm somebody that I have my content every day. I have the video and I'm like, okay, it's time to post it to YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I could care less about TikTok. It's like throwing a piece of meat over the fence. I'm like, here you go. Post it on TikTok. I don't care how it does because I know it has nothing to do with my audience. I know if I'm lucky, it's even going to be shown to 500 of them. And if it catches, it catches. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I know there is such puppet master string manipulation going on behind the scenes that it's really sick. And the other crazy thing is this reporter, Emily Baker White, she was one of the journalists that this happened to. Forbes uncovered that TikTok was spying on these Forbes journalists because they didn't want this information to come out. So Yeah, guys, I don't know. We got to kind of put a little bit more energy into fighting the system and fighting the platform in general, opposed to arguing amongst ourselves. They want us to cannibalize one another about whether Michaela had a fake lash on. And guess what? Joke's on everybody. The amount of creators, that mascara was sent to me, and I posted a review of it maybe 3 weeks or a month before Michaela did. And it was a fine mascara. And I said, this is a fine mascara. It's pretty good. It's worth a try. The amount of content creators and people that ran out and bought that mascara just to see, just like the Fenty powder, to hop on the train and say that they reviewed it so they could get the views, you look like a clown because you made L'Oreal so much money. I can't even tell you. And TikTok loved every minute of that. And you talk about boosting or heating, whatever the hell it's called. Joke's on us. Joke is on us. We are all fighting amongst ourselves about the stupidest shit, while this level of manipulation, psychological manipulation, emotional abuse, the amount of people that this is creating such insecurity in, I can't even imagine if you're a young person right now. It's really, really frightening. So yeah, guys, we gotta just kind of, I don't know, stop turning on one another and start holding these platforms that have so much authority and so much influence and so much power a little bit more accountable. Thank you guys so much for tuning into a brand new episode of Beautiful and Bothered with me, Johnny Ross. Tune in next week for a brand new episode. Subscribe and follow wherever you get your podcast, specifically the YouTube channel where we have brand new video episodes every single week. Make sure to give us a little 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you can, I would greatly appreciate it. And guys, as always, I can't thank you enough for choosing to spend this time with me each week. Wherever you are, I hope you are happy, safe, and healthy. And remember, you are beautiful. See you next week, guys.